Hi, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Brad.
This is our Musicians Happy Hippie Garden.
We're from Spunday, Mourning, and this is our little oasis that we built with hummingbirds and a garden and a recording studio that we record our music at.
Hi! I'm Kristen! I'm the Happy Hippie! I can give you the official tour if you'd like. Okay, so this is the first, my pride and joy. I did not plant this. This just sort of came with the house. I would have cut a lot of these roses off already, but I wanted to make sure there was some on here for you. So I think over the weekend I cut back all the full roses and made rose water, and then they just like bloom like crazy. So rose water is basically just cold brewed tea, and I'll use it for like a face mask. Some people use it in the bathtub. You can drink it, but yeah. Beautiful. So that's my roses. My compost bin is over there. But it basically opens up and it's double-sided. And I throw what I need in there, give it a spin, and leave it alone. This is mullein. So it's a full. So mullein is can be used for like a lot of medicinal stuff, but it grows pretty wild. So I pulled out the whole plant. They're actually good for like bladder infections. The roots and stuff like that can be used for ear infection, and the leaves can be used as like a tea. Okay. So I was just leaving it to sort of dry out, and then I'll cut it up and make like a tincture or something with it. These are my lilies of the valley. They did get eaten. Fun fact, they're poisonous. Yeah. But I think maybe when they're baby shoots, they're not, so they got eaten. And a few did flower. They get like sweet little white bell flowers.
In the early spring, right?
Yep, so it's already...
Just going to validate your hippie credentials by the bare feet.
Yes, I have been called the barefoot gardener. So I did get certified to be a master gardener, and when we got our certificates, they labeled me the barefoot gardener. Because I always have my shoes off. So this is my shade garden. This all started with these beautiful tanks. There are propane for the heat. So I put in the Spunday, and she's getting ready to bloom for you. And the Bleeding Heart, probably about 4 years ago. And they've done a pretty good job. And then since then, last year, I put in the rest of this. And my favorite about this is they bloom like pretty well in succession. So this one's already bloomed and it gets nibbled on. And I left a little flower pot for you guys on the other side, but so this was my favorite surprise. So because I got these last year in like May, they bloom in like late April or early March. They start out pink and then they turn purple and then they turn blue, all like within the same flower. So that's longwort. That's my favorite. And these are coral bells. I'm very excited about them. They'll bloom late in the year. So that's been my goal, is to get there to be flowers going at all times so that the hummingbirds and the butterflies have something to eat on. So far so good. So I'll have morning glory all along the fences. So there's a little trumpet going down there, so it'll sort of fill in as it grows. And a lot of jewelweed just sort of like pop up on its own, so I let it. It's really good for poison ivy. The stems are really like jelly, so you would just rub it on poison ivy. So I just kind of let it grow wherever it comes up. So it was fun because I had violets in here too. So early spring, everything was like purple. And then, I think everything slowed. Almost to grow all herbs, and that didn't exactly. So then this is azalea, so that's bloomed already. And then this is my like little periwinkle patch. My sister has just this lush patch, so it will completely cover this area. And I was like, always dreamed of it. So I put some in last year, and it was like, very sparse. So I added a bunch more this year. But they have early spring purple flowers. There was one the other day, but looks gone. So far so good. It looks like they're going to be happy here.
They look very happy.
They do, right? Yeah. And I just planted them probably like 3 weeks ago. The half of it. Yeah. Okay, so this was so when I did the Bleeding Heart and the Sullivan on the other side, I did it here as well. And then I had the irises. We have echinacea in the back, and then another little guy. So they'll, again, so like this bloomed first, this is blooming now, this is getting ready to bloom, and then she'll bloom towards the end. And then Brad's lovely fountain.
See, this is music.
Yep.
There's music in your garden as musicians.
As soon as he turned it on, I was like, oh, music in my ears. Yeah. Yeah, he buys a lot of the trumpet flowers for the hummingbirds, and they've started to take the pollen out of them, just like as an effort to keep the bees out of the homes and stuff, because people get worried about it. So we decided to put a few morning glories in this year, and there's a little trumpet back there, but because the hummingbirds weren't going near it, so we had these big, beautiful flowers with all these trumpets, and they wouldn't touch it. So we did I did most of everything from seed that I could.
And you're growing in a drum.
Yes. Yeah, there's a whole drum kit over there. So that one hasn't made it to its counterpart yet.
Okay.
The double chicken wire is because the chipmunks are very friendly. They are sort of our pets. They can get through chicken wire, but I just figured I'd do the double. So I have a lot of cages in cages. We have our little maple tree. And,
that looks like a foxglove, maybe.
That's foxglove and that's comfrey.
Okay.
And so comfrey's a spreader, and I just wasn't ready to commit.
And the drum.
And the drum. So here's the drum. We have tried in the past to put stuff at the bottom, and it just doesn't get enough sunlight. So that now you see the naked spot. Oh, that one's called Heat.
The musician's happy hippie
The
garden.
musician's happy hippie garden. I am a happy hippie when I'm in the garden. That's the best part. Like when we're out and we're, away for the weekend or whatever, and then we come home and it's like, I have all my plants around me, everything's blooming, everything made it. I think about them when I'm not home.
They're your babies.
They're my babies.
Okay.
And then we call this the cage.
The cage.
Because it's got fence on 4 sides to keep the chipmunks out. And so far so good.
And there's lettuce, I see.
Lettuce.
Lots of lettuce.
Wilted lettuce because I'm terrible at harvesting.
And tomatoes. And looks like
Parsley from last year, actually. We have radishes that need to be pulled, but I wanted you guys to see them. Tiny little beets, kale, lots of tomatoes. I'm going to add the basil that's on the porch, potatoes. I think, so that whole backside is all volunteer, mostly tomato. I was planning on giving to people this weekend. I'm pretty sure that's a sunflower volunteer.
Yeah.
So it does, right? Okay, so I'm gonna move it because the chipmunks dug up a few of my sunflowers out there. So I'll put it over there. Turnips, there's basil under the turnips. Peppers, calendula, come on in. Spinach is down there. I'll trade spots with you. The back corner is Brussels sprouts, carrots, anything I can think of.
Yeah.
And then I learned from last year, I put all my squashes on the outside. So we got that.
So they can climb?
Yeah. And the animals don't tend to bother them. The chipmunks are okay once it gets past a certain stage. It's the little babies that they really like to dig up, and they don't even eat them. I wouldn't mind if they ate them.
Wow.
Here's my musician.
And what is that?
What is that? So this is called a didgeridoo.
It's a beautiful work
It's
of
mostly done. It's not all the way dry, but it's got a good sound. I made the mouthpiece out of spalted maple too. It's in D. You probably have to get up close to the hole where outside.
You can feel it.
It is. I've thought many things out. Even, this, I thought about this for 2 years until the wood came to me, and then I'm like, I could do that.
Wow.
And then it was still looking at it like to just debark it, and sit there and take the time to slowly, without making marks and mars, to just pick the bark off, It's like, but love of labor, and I doubt I'll ever see a didgeridoo like this.
so cute.
Thanks for visiting.